Hello, this is Minister Rand, Sharon Rand, Coach Rand, the Pulpit Wife, the coach for the Preacher's Wives. First, I want to give honor to God and thank Him for today and all that He's done for us, for me, for everyone all over this world. And we know that we are truly grateful. I want to read a scripture to you before I get started. It comes from Genesis, the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible. And it reads from the first verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Yes, that's the first scripture in the Bible. And what I want to say to you is let's go back. Preachers' wives, let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning where it all started on your journey as a preacher's wife. And I'm going to ask some tough questions. So be prepared to answer them to yourselves. And if you can't find the answers to them or you need help in getting these answers, reach out to me, Minister Sharon Rand at pulpitwife.com. And thank you for tuning in and listening to these questions, because these are the tough questions. It's time to ask some tough questions, whether you want to answer them in your spirit, in public, whatever. But it's time to answer some tough questions. Questions number one: how do you manage the expectations placed on you as the wife of a preacher? How do you handle that? What is your go-to? What bothers you the most about being married to the preacher? Are you struggling in your marriage? Are you struggling with other issues that involve your husband? Where are you struggling? There's a struggle. In the beginning, when you became a preacher's wife, was there a struggle? Or did it evolve over time as the ministry grew? Next question. What are your biggest challenges you face supporting your husband ministry? Some of us go to the same church that our husband pastors, and some of us don't. Why don't you go to the church that your husband pastors? What is your biggest struggle at the church that your husband pastors? Do you struggle with the congregation? Do you struggle with being prepared to go to church? Do your children cause friction? Is that part of the struggle to support your husband? There are so many things that we struggle with that are challenges. It's not that we can't do it, but we struggle with it. Next question. Do you ever feel pressure to live up to certain standards because of your role as a preacher's wife, a minister's wife, a pastor's wife? How do you handle that pressure? Is the pressure so bad? We know that God won't put anything on you, no more than you can bear. But some of the pressures are unbearable. What are the pressures that are unbearable to you as a wife of the clergy, a wife of a man of the gospel? Does the word wife bother you? Are you just struggling with just being a wife outside of being a preacher's wife? How do you handle those struggles? What do you do? If just being a wife is a struggle, what happened? Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Do you know when the struggle started? Is it still a struggle? You never know how bad your struggle is until you walk through from the beginning up until now. How do you balance your personal needs and spiritual growth with the demands of being a preacher's wife? How do you balance that? When is there time for you? Is there always time for your husband? Is it always time for the children, the house, the job, your ministry? How do you balance that? When is there time for you to go through the go through? When is it your time? Do you make personal time? I'm not just talking about getting your nails and your hair done and the pedicure. I'm talking about time for you to spend with God. Are you spending enough time with God, or are you spending more time trying to navigate just being a preacher's wife or just being a wife? I've been a preacher's wife for almost 25 years. I struggled from the very beginning. I struggled. I was already married 4 years, hadn't had children yet, and being a wife was a bit of a challenge because I couldn't distinct between being a girlfriend and a wife. So I was still handling myself as a girlfriend until I realized this is real. And I had to go back. Let's go back to the beginning where I learned how to be a wife. Yes, you have to learn how to be a wife. You don't just wake up wife material. And then after 4 years, we had children. That was a struggle. I just learned how to be a wife. And now I'm a preacher's wife. I was at church. I was a secretary in the church. And my husband came up and took the chair. If you're in a Baptist church, you know what that means. Bring yourself to the pastor if you want to join the church, or you want to come up for prayer, or whatever you want to come up there. The doors of the church are open, and you hear the song, Come to Jesus, and we proceed from there. So the secretary comes up with her little tablet to write down the name, or what you come up to the pastor for or before the church. My husband comes up there and say he's accepting his calling. And that blew my mind. Accepting your calling to what? My dad is a preacher. God rest his soul. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to deal with my dad as being a preacher. That's another story. And now you, husband, you want to be a preacher? Okay, we got 2 little kids now. A preacher's wife? No, that blew my mind. That was a struggle from the beginning. But let me tell you, it took time for me to understand what God was doing in my life. I had these same challenges. I have answers to these questions that brought me to this point of being a preacher's wife after so many years. My children are older now, so it's been through those times of being a wife, a mother, a preacher's wife, now a minister myself, a mentor, and a sponsor. And that's why I am Coach Sharon, the Pulpit Wife. I am the coach for the preacher's wives to help them answer these tough questions. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. How about your faith and your beliefs? Has your faith ever been tested due to the challenges of ministry of your husband? What strategies did you use when your faith was being tested? That's some of the tough questions. There are even more questions to ask the preacher's wife. She needs someone to talk to. She needs answers. She has the tools already within her. She needs someone to help her go through the go through. But you have to start from the beginning. In the beginning. So let's go back. Thank you for listening in, and you will hear more of these tough questions. If you want answers, if you need someone to talk to, you can contact Coach Sharon, the Pulpit Wife, at pulpitwife.com. And on that website, you will see all the information you need to know about becoming a preacher's wife.